Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Sky Deep. Welcome to the channel. And on today's episode, we are going to talk about 5 different ways that you can save memory or the CPU on your MPC Live, X, or MPC 1. If you didn't get to know me already, I'm Sky Deep. I'm a musician, producer, multimedia artist in general, and I'm really into virtual reality right now, so I'm also building a virtual reality game. Maybe you're into that, or maybe you just want to see me work out in VR. This is the place for it, okay? So if you're a DIY bootstrapping artist and you're trying to figure out how to level up, then this is the channel for you, okay? So hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell, because you definitely want to be in the know each time I upload a video, because we gonna do this and we gonna do this together. It's all about community, people. So thanks for tuning in. And without further ado, ready, set, let's go. Okay, if you didn't know this already, there's a certain limit that you can reach where you can't add any more samples or any more effects or any more sequences even sometimes. And that can kind of stop your workflow. So here, I'm going to give you those tips. Stay until the end, because even if the first couple of them you already knew, for sure there's going to be something in here that is useful to you. Tip number 1. It's really simple, actually. You could just use external MIDI devices like synthesizers or other drum machines and connect them to your MPC. If you connect these external devices to your MPC, then you have a lot of different patches and things to choose from, as many sounds as you want that exist inside of that particular box. And otherwise, your MPC is just handling MIDI from there. So if you have any type of multi-timbral synth, or even just a synth that, is just handling all your bass lines and leads, then you can get a lot of use out of that while saving the memory or the CPU inside the MPC. Okay? That's pretty straightforward, but what if you want to just keep it as a standalone device as it is able to be? Tip number 2 is use the plugins that are already natively inside the MPC. They're actually pretty good. No, it's not your exact analog synth, or it's not going to have, the sound of whatever other of your favorite synths might be. But there's so much to work with there that it is kind of unbelievable. And you really can do some amazing sound design using these like tube synth or the drum synth, which is pretty amazing and has many different tracks within the synth itself, where you can do an entire drum kit on one plugin. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. So imagine you're doing a full live set and you want to have 10 different drum kits. Well, you can kind of do that using the automations and the fine tuning and pitching up and pitching down of just using what's already inside the MPC. And in most cases, it almost feels quite limitless how far you can go. Now, I'm sure there are some limits, so don't kill me if you're a professional MPC person and you're like, actually, you can go ahead and write that down in the comments, because I want to know, okay? This is a community. We are all learning, and hey, let's work with what we got, people. So if you don't have external synths that you want to work with, there is plenty to work with inside of this beautiful machine, okay? So, moving right along. Tip number 3, trim and purge. Simple as that. If you're a veteran MPC user, then you probably already know this. And if you're an experienced user, hang on to the end, because there still might be something there for you that you haven't added to your practice yet, and I'm going to talk about it. But in trimming and purging, for those of you that are new to the MPC and wondering how to expand your live sets with as many songs as possible into one session, you want to take any samples that you're using inside of your session and trim them to only what you actually need. And if you're not using anything on, like, let's say you have some samples on pads that you're not actually using in any of your tracks, you want to make sure you take those off, remove them from that drum kit. And then you want to go into your settings, like shown here, and you want to purge. And when you purge, it's going to get rid of all the files that you're not actually using inside of the session. Okay? Which leads me to another point. But actually, before I go on to that point, think about it. If you have a 2-minute snip of a song, or 1 minute, or 30 seconds even, but what if you only need 2 seconds of it? Yeah, you want to get rid of that other stuff. So there's a couple of different ways that you can process your files inside the MPC, and then just make sure that you save it with your new name and then chuck the rest. Okay, so that leads me to the next tip number 4, which is mono or stereo. Okay, so if you have a stereo sample and you only actually, like, maybe it's the same information on the left and right if you really listen to it, and you want to just pan it somewhere and set it in your mix, you don't need the whole stereo file. That's like having a double file. Yeah, so what do? You go inside the MPC settings, you go into sample edit, and you can reprocess that sample into a mono file. And, I can get more in depth about that, but that's the overview. You can look into it, or if you want me to expand on any of the subjects in this video, I'm happy to, and I can make a special video just for that. All right. Tip number 5. Sends and returns. Okay, you can put your effects onto their own sort of channel, and then you can save more memory by not having to put an effect. Say there's a reverb you want to use. You don't have to put that same reverb plugin on every single pad or track you're working with. You can have one instance of that effect, and then you can send the sound of, any sound from anywhere inside your session, routed through the MPC to that effect. And you can send a lot to get more of the effect, or you can send just a little, just to get a little taste. Okay. So the cool thing about that is, maybe in your full on productions, maybe you want to use a lot of individual effects and you don't have to worry about reaching the limit of your session so much. But I know for me that when I'm performing my live sets, I end up restructuring a lot of my tracks because I'm fitting all the sequences from all of my songs into one big session. And the truth is in the final production of the songs themselves, I might be using different reverbs or delays or choruses or distortions, but inside the live performance session, I think it's okay that I have sort of my main universal effects for the live experience. And then I can reuse them across the various tracks that I'm using. I know that there are many of you out there who are very excited about using the clips section and combining your loops with each other. Loops take up a lot of space. So if you're doing a live set, then for sure, some of it can be loops, but some of it can perhaps use some of these other tips that I gave you to help you stretch the memory space in your session as far as possible so that you can keep rocking. Hey, and if you like what I'm up to here, because this channel is all about the DIY artist, the bootstrapping artist. I don't have a whole camp behind me. What you see is what you get, and I work with what I got. And I can't always get that next level synthesizer or something like that. So instead, I say, I'm going to stretch my stuff to its utter limits. And then only if I reach the actual limit of what I got, then maybe I might need something else. So anyway, just to say, hey, whatever place you're coming from with your equipment, I want to get you there with techniques and concepts that take you deeper into your flow and makes you get the most bang for your buck, basically, because I'm all about that. All right. So yeah, don't forget to give me a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more of this. But also, if you're just looking for general production tips, I'm here for that too. And I'm also here for just a good time. So sometimes I'm just going to be making videos and just having fun and wanting to have a chat with y'all. Okay? So work with what you got. You can do it. And let's do this together, people. I'm going to see you on the next round.